Guys, welcome back to Ron's Rides Daytona Beach. I am at Alfa Romeo in Daytona, and everybody always asks me comparison videos or comparison between the Alfa Romeo Stelvio and the Maserati Levante. Them being in the same company, sold in the same dealership, you kind of want a comparison between the two if you were looking to purchase a sports SUV, a sport utility vehicle. And with that said, these cars are not the same cars. They're not in the same market. There's completely a big gap between the two of them, and this is excluding the quadrifoglio model of the Stelvio. That's not here in the States yet, so I can't compare that yet. But I do have a base model Stelvio here, and I'm going to tell you why this is not comparable to a Maserati Levante. So this Stelvio runs at $47,000 and some change. Most base model Stelvios run at about $41,000 to start. Now, the base model Levantes run at the low $70,000 range. That's a big difference because you get a lot more with the Levante compared to the Stelvio. So this has to be the biggest difference between the Levante and the Stelvio. For the base model Levante, the horsepower is at 345. Now, that is for the V6. 6 cylinders, and it's twin turboed. Between the Stelvio is the inline 4-cylinder, which is 280 horsepower. The torque on the Levante is 369 pound-foot compared to the Stelvio, which is 306 pound-foot of torque. So, you know, a lot of the money, you know, the gap-wise on price range compares to the power of the car, and that comes from the engine. It's not the same type of beast, you know, engine-wise, as far as how fast it goes and how you know how quick it is off the line. It's really different. This is more for leisurely driving. You know, this is not for the type of style of driving that you would do in a Levante. Let's talk about gasoline, because this is a big one too. What you're spending at the pump. So with both cars, you need premium fuel only. So you have to fill with premium. But between the two, the Levante gets 20 miles per gallon on the highway compared to the Stelvio that gets 28 miles per gallon on the highway. City, you're looking at 22 miles per gallon for the Stelvio and 14 for the Levante. Now that's a big thing to do with the engine. For the volume of both tanks, you have 21.1 gallons for the Levante and 16.9 gallons for the Stelvio. So a little bit of the difference there as well. But that lets you kind of know between the two, bigger engines, more cylinders, sucking up more gas. So if you're looking for fuel economy, the Stelvio is definitely the way to go. All right, so another big thing to take into consideration is the cargo room. Now the Giulia comes up just a little bit short compared to the Levante with 18.5 cubic feet of cargo to where the Levante has 19.4 cubic feet. So it's a little bit of a difference, barely much, but let me know what you guys think. Does it really matter for that, you know, that much of a difference? It's not much at all. While we are on the topic of cargo, let's talk about seats. Both cars definitely fit 5 people comfortably. I would say 2 adults, maybe a child or a small adult, if that, but they both have the same amount of capacity as far as 2 up front and 3 in the back. Now the Vesuvio gray metallic paint looks wonderful. If you wanted a few more paint options, the Stelvio is 5 short of paint options compared to the Levante. Levante does have 5 more different paint colors that you could get with the car. Now, that's probably not a big deal to a lot of people because the paint colors on the Alfas look great. If you have the option to have 5 different paint colors extra, then that's nice. But you might not even like those 5 extra options. So, you know, it might not be a deal breaker to you between the two, but they do come in amazing colors. And you can always wrap it if you want, or you can get a nice Rosso and, you know, have that signature Alfa red to go splendidly on your car. But with that said, I did want to let you know that the paint colors are just 5 short of the Levante on the Stelvio. Another big comparison, comparing the Levante to the Alfa Romeo Stelvio is the infotainment. Completely different setup. I know everybody gave Maserati a lot of crap for going with Chrysler, but as far as infotainment, it works. And the 2017s come with Apple CarPlay, you know, so it definitely works, and it's you know, it's good stuff. It's not BMW and Audi. Don't get me wrong. It is not BMW, Audi, or Mercedes as far as infotainment goes. They have been killing the game on that. I would say Mercedes and Audi definitely the top two. So it's not that great for the Levante, but it works, and Apple CarPlay is a big hitter. For the Stelvio, it's got its own system. It's really it's simple to navigate, but it's simple. You know, it's not much to it. It's just you know, I mean, the bells and whistles are there. You know, they're simple. Nothing crazy to talk about as far as crazy tech. You know, it works and it does the job, but you know, as far as, you know, all of the crazy things that you might want, it's not really there yet, you know. And I feel like they have a nice system. It kind of reminds me of BMW, but just not as refined. With that, I say Levante would probably be the clear winner. It just has a lot more going on, a lot more options, a lot more you can do, a lot prettier, a lot bigger screen. I believe the screen is 8 inches on the Levante, and you guys can fact check me on that. I didn't look up that spec right before. I'm pretty sure it's 8 inches like all of the Maseratis. You know, so it's a nice big screen. It looks good, it performs well, and it does what it needs to do. This is good, but it could be better. I feel like for the Alfa, we can do a little bit better job with the Alfa, but it's clean and it works. You know, it's great in the inside, it's great in the interior as far as the infotainment goes. But you know, it's pretty simple. Okay, so to really hear the sound difference between the cars, that is a cold start on a Giulia. Here's a cold start on the Levante. Smaller engine, less cylinders on the Stelvio makes it a little quieter than the Levante. When you're driving, it's also the same. Let's go. With that said, what would you guys prefer between the two? Would you prefer the sound of the Levante or the sound of the Alfa? More subtle sound with the Alfa, big time. The Levante is very aggressive, especially in sport mode. What do you guys think between the two? Big difference. Alright guys, so to wrap this up, I just wanted to spin around the car one more time. The differences between the Maserati Levante and the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, they're big because they're different cars. And I didn't want to put a Levante next to it. I could have parked it right there. I didn't want to put it next to it because looks are subjective. You've seen what the Levante looks like. You know, I don't want to put it next to it and people judge on looks. You know, I want you to judge on what you're going to be using the car for day to day, the different kinds of things it may or may not come with, and you know, how it would make you feel if you were to purchase the car. I don't want to, you know, tell you that, oh yeah, you need to get the Levante because it looks like this. You know, that's, like I said, it's kind of like basing a girl off of the makeup she wears. You know, looks and first sight, but you don't get to know her personality. So, you know, I wanted you to judge the Stelvio off of its personality. Not saying that it doesn't look good, but I don't want people to judge looks. I want you to know how you'll be using the car. Base model for these, $40,000. Base model for the Levante, $70,000. Completely different engine with horsepower, completely different options, completely different exhaust. You know, it's not the same car. You know, so I just want to let people know that when they ask me between the two, it's hard to pick. It depends on what you're going to be using them for. Hopefully you guys got that. Hopefully you understand where I was coming from with this video, and hopefully you can make your decision off of this video. So with that said, it's getting kind of noisy with the landscapers over there. I want to say, if you really enjoyed what I did here, definitely give the video a like. I want people to know the difference and the comparison. Also, definitely if you like what I'm doing, subscribe. I do have tons of amateur Alfa Romeo Maserati videos. And also send me a comment. I want to see what you guys think. Would you prefer the Levante or would you prefer the Giulia? Let me know what you guys think. Stelvio Quadrifoglio, when that comes in, I'll definitely be reviewing that, and that won't really compare to a lot of things here. That's in its own class, but we're gonna have to see that when it comes out, because that is going to be a monster. With that said, guys, this is Ron's Rides. I'm out of here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Stay blessed. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.